Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, coming to you from the beautiful Reedville neighborhood in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so happy that you are part of our Reading with Your Kids family. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to connect with us on Facebook, facebook.com/readingwithyourkids. On Twitter, we're Jedley Magic. And on Instagram, we have a brand new Reading with Your Kids account on Instagram. We have a great guest for you today. Her name is Lisa Caprelli. She's going to tell us all about her Unicorn Jazz series. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is brought to you by Familius Publishing. We love Familius Publishing. They've been great guests to the show. If you don't know it already, Familius publishes books and other content to help families be happy. Familius believes that the family is a fundamental unit of society and that happy families are the foundation of a happy life. We've had a friendship with Familius for so long. In fact, the publisher, Christopher Robin, was on the show very early on. Now, Christopher has been in the book publishing business for over 20 years. When I asked him what inspired him to create Familius, he said, I believe that everybody wants to have a happy family. I haven't heard anybody say that they didn't. I founded Familius with the intent of helping families be happier. And that's what our books do. They help families be happier. I love it. They have this thing that they call the Familius 9 Habits of Happy Family Life. Love together, play together, learn together, work together, talk together, heal together, read together, eat together, and laugh together. And all of their books and content, it's all designed to help families live those 9 habits of happy family life. We want you to get to know our friends at Familius Books. You've heard so many of their authors on the show. Most recently, we've had Dr. John DeGarmo talk to us about the Familius book, the little book of foster care wisdom. You've heard Brad Berger talk about the big book of family games, and you've heard Dr. Ron Melman talk about Harriet's Monster Diary, Awfully Anxious. There's so many great books that come from our friends at Familius. We don't want you to miss one. So check out their website, familius.com, and be sure to follow them on Instagram at Familius Talk. That way you can learn more about all of their titles and stay up to date with the latest releases. This episode is also brought to you by the Superhero School series by Donna Sager-Cowan. Kat the cat wants a home, a family, and friends she can count on when she suddenly finds herself in Sweet Meadows. Now, Sweet Meadows is a long way from the alley she calls home. Kat discovers that she can talk, but she can't decide if she's dreaming or dead. Simon, a mouse, is having the worst day ever. Instead of celebrating his first day at Superhero School, he's on the breakfast menu twice. A hawk considered him an easy meal, but quick thinking changed that. Now a cat wants to pounce. Well, not if Simon can help it. With a quick plan and a matchstick, Simon speeds towards certain death. Will he arrive safely at Superhero School? Join the entire Superhero School gang for their first adventure with The Courage of a Mouse, the Superhero School series, Book 1, a middle grade chapter book for ages 7 to 12. It focuses on courage, friendship, and finding the superhero inside all of us. The series touches on common life themes and challenges with humor, patience, and self-improvement techniques. Find it today wherever books are sold. It's the Superhero School series, Book 1 with The Courage of a Mouse by Donna Sager-Cowan. And we also want to let you know that this episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is also brought to you by Dr. Connie Tate and her wonderful children's books. They include Scooter Boy, Roll On, and Sylvester's Catastrophic Tale. You know, I love the little poem that Dr. Tate wrote for the Fun Summer Reads promotion. It's summertime and it's time to read. Curl up with a book, there's no better deed. Reading is magical. Just open a book. You can travel the world from your own cozy nook. And you also get to meet some great characters, like the characters in Dr. Connie Tate's books. In Roll On, you're going to meet Ren. And Ren was inspired by Dr. Tate's granddaughter. Really, really cool. Now, Cal, the hero of Scooter Boy, is somebody that everybody absolutely adores. And speaking of everybody is going to root for Sylvester's safe return and Sylvester's catastrophic tale. All of these books are available on Amazon or by going to Lucky Ginny Publishing, Inc. And don't forget to check out Dr. Tate's website, rollonreading.com. That's rollonreading.com. You go there and you can find out more about all of Dr. Tate's great books, but you can also download some free activities. That's rollonreading.com. Joining us on the line right now from Southern California, she is the author of a great new series called Unicorn Jazz. Please welcome to the show, author Lisa Caprelli. Lisa, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Jed. Love your show.
Oh, thank you very much. We can't hear that enough. That is wonderful.
Right.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to hear about Unicorn Jazz. Can you tell us about the series?
Yes, thank you so much. So unicorns, besides them being popular with people of all ages, girls and yes, even boys and men, what I love about Unicorn Jazz is three key things that she promotes in the stories that I've done and continue to do as a series. So the three main things so far we have are kindness, friendship, and the embracing being unique. Unicorn unique. So It's been a lot of fun doing this.
What inspired you to create the Unicorn Jazz series?
Well, I've written other books in different genres, and then last year it was kind of serendipitous that I told my partner I want to write a book about a unicorn, and then really more than that, it just was branding it. So I have a 25-year branding and marketing background. Jed, before I dove into becoming more of an accomplished author. And so with that, I had this huge vision in mind, kind of like Hello Kitty, I tell people, but it's Unicorn Jazz. So we copyrighted the name, we copyrighted her image. So she has a musical tail for a note. And, one of her special powers is that she sings. So that was important. We've trademarked the name Unicorn Jazz because we want to be able to merchandise it so that children, will fall in love with the characters and the songs that we are going to make.
You bring up an interesting point, and I'm imagining there's some people out there who hear your vision and of merchandise and things like that, and their first reaction might be, somebody else who's just in it for a buck to, just get parents to open up their pocketbooks and just buy all this stuff that's going to fill up my house. What would you say in response to that person?
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of programs and information that all started with writing. For example, Baby Einstein was born out of a mother's garage, and now it's gone on to be, bought and sold by different huge corporations. And so me being the visionary, and wanting to have the message where I can share in the classroom as young as, infants and children and teachers and librarians, the feedback that I've been given is that we need to have more social emotional learning in the schools and, social emotional learning skills. And my background is a social psychologist. And so with that said, I knew that I could create stories that would entertain and also provide conversations for children and adults. And then with that, children love the unicorn. They want to be able to take a plushie home. They want to be able to, color in it and really bring it to life, kind of like Sesame Street had, decade after decade, Sesame Street, initially I grew up Sesame Street fan. I loved it. So again, decades later, you're able to have merchandise and have it as reminders of things that you believe in.
Yeah, and that's the point. And I went through that. My son was a Barney fanatic, and so we had.
Did you have everything purple, Barney?
Oh my goodness! And we had a cassette. Literally, when he was. I think a year old, my wife and I came out on tour with me, and we went down through Pennsylvania, and there was one cassette. It was a Barney cassette. It was the only thing that we could play the entire week as we drove through the mountains of Pennsylvania. Just that Barney, I love you, you love me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to drive off the highway into a tree. But the point was that all of those things reinforce the message, that I love you, you love me message for my son. And it was as annoying as it could be for us, it was really important for my son, and it was a really wholesome message. So there is a purpose more than just earning a profit, and there's nothing wrong with earning a profit.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, it allowed me to go back to do more books, which we're doing. And in the first Unicorn Jazz, I said, what would a children's book be without a song? So I incorporated a chant in the first book. It's called the Unicorn Jazz Friendship Song. And I'm not a singer, but I thankfully I had friends who are in entertainment and singing. Carrie Kasem, who's the daughter of Casey Kasem, she's the voice of the Unicorn Jazz Friendship Song, and she's also a good dear friend of mine. And then Thansha Anderson helped to write the lyrics to it. And so now the children get a whole experience with the book, the messages, the conversations that can happen between the children, parents, grandparents, teachers, classrooms. And then the song, it's a really catchy song. It sticks with you.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about those conversations that you were mentioning that families can have when they're experiencing Unicorn Jazz.
Yeah, so the first book is about Unicorn Jazz. She's a shy unicorn, and she moves to a land with her family and feels like she doesn't belong. And I think that many times in our lives we can feel that as children. Whether you're moving or whether you're going to a new school or whether you just don't have the communication skills developed, for whatever reason. And that was kind of me. I mean, in a sense, I'm Unicorn Jazz, but it's a mix of different personalities too. Obviously, I gave the character a lot of imagination and thinking forward in developing her character. But I grew up, Jed, really introverted, really shy. I grew up in a household with no communication. There was 5 children my mom raised on her own. And, we grew up with not a lot as far as, I would say we were poor, even though we had a lot of love. So I feel like, my elementary school experience was so important. And that's when I really dove in and loved picture books. And again, for us to have a book back then it was like golden to us. We had to go to the library to get books. And, my teacher at the end of first grade, Miss Johnson, she gave me a book by Sid Hoff called Danny and the Dinosaur. I must have read that book a million times that summer, and then I wanted to see everything that Sid Hoff wrote because it just resonated with me again, story, pictures. And so when I was creating Unicorn Jazz, I want people to say, what else is there? What else can I read? And so that's what we're doing. It's a lot of fun. I have a fantastic illustrator. I've got to thank and honor Davy Villalobos, who's gotten the heart and the vision in creating Unicorn Jazz and her characters.
I'm looking at your website right now, and it really is. You mentioned the illustrator, fantastic job, and I really love that Unicorn Jazz. That her tale is a musical note. Where did that inspiration come from?
Well, when I was back and forth with Dave, the illustrator, which, as you know, as a children's author, finding an illustrator that gets what you have in your head and putting it onto paper is very important. Mm-hmm. And, I can't do what Davey has done. And by the way, Davey is my cousin. He's, born and raised, in my hometown, El Paso, Texas. And so, he's just been, he's grown up sketching and drawing. So back and forth, I said to him the same thing I said earlier on your show was, what would a children's book be without a song? And that in the book, her talent is that she sings, and her mother tells her she's a good singer, and then she meets a character named Wolf the Crow, who hears her sing and sings, and then believes in her. And it's that message that changes in the story where she has a friend, and he tells her, you should go off and sing to all the animals who kind of were making fun of you. Again, in so many words, the book says it to children's terms. And so with that, Davey came back with the tale as the musical note. And it was, I mean, I got chills. That's what Unicorn Jazz needed to be.
It really is a stroke of genius. And I love it. And I love the illustrations, and I also love the story. And one of the things that I find really interesting, and I want you to talk a little bit about, is that Unicorn Jazz is very much a team. You mentioned your illustrator, and you also mentioned that you're the singer and songwriter, and there are more members of your team. So talk a little bit about those team members and what they're doing, and also we'll talk about just how important it is for an author to kind of have the courage to kind of let go and bring other people in to make their dream a reality.
Oh my gosh, it's so important. You have to thank people for helping you. There's no way I could have done this on my own, without the kind-hearted generosity of people looking at books. Moms of daughters. I actually have 2 sons. I never had a daughter. Always wish I did. And thanks to Unicorn Jazz, I'll be around little girls for life. It was very important. And I think people know my personality, that you help me, I'm going to help you back tenfold. There's the books in Spanish, Unicornio Jazz. I had a family member help me translate it in Spanish. And I think that all these people came forward to help, that nobody asked for compensation. They knew that I was doing this, that I was funding this, and the mission that I wanted to have ahead. So in a sense, Jed, people actually wanted to be part of it. Mm-hmm. And with that, I've had children, we call them Unicorn Jazz Friendship Ambassadors, where we give them, the products and we let them, use at home, give feedback, because again, I'm not 7 yet anymore, although I can kind of remember what it's like to be 7. So I rely on the parents and the children to follow the mission, to give that feedback. And they do. They take it to the schools. They show their friends. So in a sense, they're promoting in a way, being authentic that I would not be able to do without their help. And, I have a growing list of people that I thank. I just can't ever not thank enough people. And to me, that's showing the global mission that we have for Unicorn Jazz, that it's not, a lot of times when people go to events, they say, come meet author so-and-so. And I want them to say, come meet Unicorn Jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that really caught my eye was that you have created a Unicorn Jazz birthday party. So folks can actually have Unicorn Jazz come and celebrate their birthday. How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm local in Orange County, California. If someone wants to have unicorn birthday parties are very popular everywhere I go. I mean, almost everybody with the little girl says that their child is unicorn. They want to have a unicorn birthday party. So with that, we have the books, we have the coloring books, I have piñatas. I'll come do a story time reading. We'd have sing-along, since we have, again, as I said, the song for Unicorn Jazz, and to get them really involved in the message. And again, the fact that they're getting a one-of-a-kind unicorn, it's in a sense it's like having, in a way, like a Hello Kitty birthday or a Mickey Mouse birthday. No one really can, copy the work and the property that I've created, which, as a author or as an illustrator, that work, that's what brings you value. That's why you created it in the first place. Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I mentioned and wanted you to talk about that, and I'm glad that you picked up on that, is that it is a great service and a great thing that if you're in Southern California, you can take advantage of. But I also wanted to just use it as a reminder to folks that, Unicorn Jazz is your intellectual property, is something that you created. And nobody should be dressing up like Unicorn Jazz and doing birthday parties without your permission. And no one should be hiring someone to put on a Mickey Mouse costume. And I know Disney, they have enough money, but it's the point of the situation, that character is the intellectual property of the creator or whoever bought it from the creator. And I think it's important for us to teach our kids that lesson, and that we need to respect artists' rights, whether they're authors, and we don't want to be copying their books and then bootlegging their books, and we don't want to be bootlegging songs and movies, and we want Barney to come here, but no, it's not right to just put somebody else in a Barney costume.
Yeah, it's going through it. It's been a lot of work to do. I literally probably spend an average of at least 6 to 8 hours a day on Unicorn Jazz, among other things, in building the brand, and building, and again, the number one thing I have to do as the creator is to continue to write stories. I have a blog, and because I do love writing, when I'm not working on the book every single day, I'm able to then use some of the conversations I'm having in the schools, and I'll blog about that. Having conversations with other illustrators, other authors, and talk about them. I did not know that, Jed, we often hear, follow your heart, follow your purpose, and you'll be doing the right thing. And this is really the first time in my life that I'm getting to do that. I really jump out of bed in the morning to be able to work on the Unicorn Jazz global mission and touch base with the people that are on my Instagram, mom bloggers who are requesting the books and then, staying in touch with them, not just giving it to them for them to look at, but then saying, how did you like it? What was the message? And I never tell them what the message I want them to hear, but I'm hearing the common things. And, I'm getting, requested I'm Hispanic, so I just got requested from another Latina, mom blogger for books that have to do with like what we talked about earlier, the social emotional learning component. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it has been serendipitous. It's been magical, as unicorns are. But again, I truly feel that when you as an author, an illustrator, creator, create something that you really, really want to do, then it's not about the money. It's something that can have a meaningful impact, a meaningful change. Do it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did with Unicorn Jazz. I took a chance on it, of course. Like being an author is really being an entrepreneur. I took a chance, but I didn't hesitate. I really knew that it was going to work. I can't even keep up with the amount of needs and requests that I have right now. So it's a good thing. I look forward to the progress we're going to make year after year, and then the team and the awareness and being on shows like you have, which is so beneficial for us authors. Thank you so much.
Wow, you're very, very welcome. Speaking of shows, I'm just wondering, are plans in the works to create an animated Unicorn Jazz series?
Yeah. Yes, I was actually asked that before the book even came out, when I was posting about it, to do, I've been approached to do animation. It's a process, still something I've got to learn or partner with the right people. I do have, idea. I just need the execution plan to do a web series, with Unicorn Jazz. And, I'm hoping to start that in the fall. I do have, because I do a marketing and YouTube and video, and my son, he's a big YouTuber. He started at the age of 7. He's now almost 14, and his name is Trey Jam. He does these try not to laugh, videos. He has over 70 million views, over 115,000 subscribers. So I'm getting to go back with him and, let's say, partner with him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's amazing when you 70 million views. Mm-hmm. It just kind of, I heard it, and then when I went to comment on it, it just kind of struck me again, like 7 to 14 years old, 70 million views. That's just amazing. And it just reminds me of what an amazing time we live in, that
I know, right?
We have this ability to touch people all over the world. And I think it's important. I love that you are encouraging your son to do this. And I think it's important, for us as parents just to remember that this is an incredible tool. And we need to help our kids, not only support our kids when they have this great idea, but also work with our kids to help them learn how to use these tools, this technology, in a positive, respectful way, respectful of themselves and also respectful of whoever is going to be on the other end seeing it.
Right, absolutely. And that's why I always do love talking about my son Trey. And sometimes when I've done author visits, he comes with me, or career day. And we're able to tie in, like you said, the importance of technology, mm-hmm. The importance of staying innovative. And although he doesn't want to grow up and become a YouTuber, he knows it's just been like a tool. And he's learned a lot in one specific thing. But I say that because it's such a great time to be in technology, to be an author today, to use the tools. And you can start that at an early age, and you can also, it's never too late to learn, for people who are more of what I call the business dinosaur. Mm-hmm. It's really important to understand the social media. And even though, like, you will hear pros and cons about people always being on their phone, always looking at their social media, again, you can have self-control, just like you shouldn't eat too much chocolate, right? You know, if it was right before you, don't eat it. But, at the same time, it's without technology, without things like Instagram, Facebook, the ways of me reaching people as an author and the ways of most businesses reaching their customers, it's the greatest time. It's the most inexpensive way of advertising. And I say that because, a lot of people don't know, but early on when I moved to California about 20 years ago, back then I did a lot of radio advertising for the business I had. I literally spent millions of dollars over the years to, get exponential returns on that. If I had a time machine and I could go back now, I would have made much more profits because Instagram, Facebook, targeted ads are so much easier to experiment with as the new entrepreneur. And it works when done correctly.
Yeah. Well, and before we say goodbye, that's one of the things I just want you to kind of reinforce. And you said it very clearly, and there was so much going on that I didn't have a chance to comment on it, but you made the point that as an author, you are an entrepreneur. And I think that is something that most authors forget. Or they don't know going in. They actually, that it's more fair to say they don't understand that. They think, I'm going to write a book, give it to a publisher, boom, I'm done. And no, that's when your job starts.
Absolutely. I wrote a book called Color Your Message. It's on Amazon. It went to #1 in its category in 2015. It's called Color Your Message, The Art of Digital Marketing and Social Media. And it applies to authors too. I've actually, thought of creating Color Your Message for authors, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty much everything that's in there. It just would be adding the word authors and instead of wherever the word is business in the book, I would replace it with authors because I see a lot of authors, who ask me how am I rising so fast with the work that I'm doing? But it's because I'm doing the marketing and having strategy. Again, I don't know everything. I have a team of people that help me. And I work with young people so that I stay innovative on what's going on with technology. Excellent.
Well, we want to encourage families to check out Unicorn Jazz. Where can folks connect with you online to see that website that I was referring to earlier on?
Thank you, Jed. It's simple. Just go to unicornjazz.com. I'm Lisa Caprelli. You can find me on all social media at Lisa Caprelli. And all the other books that I have done. I have a book called Skip a Step, Imparting Wisdom for Young Entrepreneur Minds. Also, and all my books are on Audible. I'm very proud of that. I have some great narrations for Unicorn Jazz and the characters as well as my other books. So again, it's think big, go big, do big, create the right team that's going to support your goals and have fun doing it.
This is awesome. I've had such a great time and I've learned a lot too, and I need to put some of these business ideas into practice here on the podcast. We've been talking to the author of Color Your Message. If you are an author, you need to understand that you are an entrepreneur. So check out Lisa's book, Color Your Message for Business, and also make sure you check out Unicorn Jazz, a great series that will be a great collection to a great addition to your family library. We've been speaking to the author and creator and the driving force behind this movement, this brand, this lifestyle brand, Lisa Caprelli. Lisa, thanks so much for being part of the show.
Thank you, Jed. Talk soon.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Lori Lynn. She'll be here to introduce us to her book, The Big Scary Monster. If you are an author, I bet you the biggest, scariest monster in your life is called marketing. Yeah, that's right. When you set out to write a beautiful children's book, you didn't set out to become the marketing director of a corporation. But in essence, that's what happens, especially if you're an indie author. You are the person responsible for marketing your book, and it is challenging to say the least. Well, we can help. We have a beautiful program that's helped so many authors. It's called the Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read Program. We've established a panel of evaluators. They're teachers, parents, and kids. And if they believe that your book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, it becomes a Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. And with that status comes a whole lot of great tools that can help you celebrate your book and help it stand out amongst a crowd of other books. the thousands of books that are published every single year. So please, to learn more, go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Author Services button, and you'll find out all about our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. We want to thank the people who made today's show so wonderful. We want to thank the author of the Unicorn Jazz series, Lisa Caprelli. Thanks for being on the show, Lisa. We also want to thank our sponsors, our good friends over at Familius Publishing. Be sure to check them out on Instagram at Familius Talk and also at their website, familius.com. We also want to thank the author of With the Courage of a Mouse, Book 1 of the Superhero School series, Donna Sager-Cowan. And we want to thank the author of all those great books that you can find on rollonreading.com, Dr. Connie Tate. Be sure to check out her books, Sylvester's Catastrophic Tales, Scooter Boy, and Roll On. Be sure to visit Dr. Tate's website, rollonreading.com, and download a whole lot of great fun activities. I also want to thank my producer, Fatima Khan. Be sure to check out her blog on our website, readingwithyourkids.com. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support that she gives me, and I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place. And you do that every time you read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.